Hey, it's Dr. Karen Kan. Welcome to another edition of the Spiritual Medicine Digest. This week we're going to be talking about mineral magic. But before we do, would love for you to subscribe to my channel. So if you are watching this on YouTube, go ahead and click the subscribe button and then maybe even the notification bell so you know next time I do a video. So, what are we talking about this week? Mineral magic. Well, let's back up a little bit and talk about what's happening right now in the world and how it is affecting highly sensitive people. So the world is going through what I call an ascension upgrade, or some people will call it the expansion because it's not really Christian, and some people think ascension means Christian. Anyway, so when I say ascension, just imagine that the vibration, the frequency is just elevating, 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 and most people would say this is a good thing. However, sometimes as we go through these upgrades, our human bodies do go through there we go, some shifts and changes that can be uncomfortable at times. Now, maybe you are not affected at all, which is awesome. Kudos for you. Sometimes you are. Now, what I've noticed for myself as a highly empathic person, also an earth angel and a starseed, is that when we go through certain cycles of ascension and we have, say, an upgrade, that occasionally my body will need more minerals to actually function at its highest level. Now, of course, I am also an athlete, so that could also be partly due to that. But what I've noticed working with thousands of people from around the world with their spiritual growth and doing healing work with them and teaching them my healing modality, the 𝗪𝗡𝗡𝗡 healing method, is that oftentimes there will be a little bit of a glitch where, for whatever reason, the ascension process prevents us from fully being able to process the minerals that we take in. Now, when I talk about minerals, I'm really talking about, the minerals found in our food. Now, and water, etc. So the minerals are really important for the body to be able to do all the different cellular processes that it needs to do. Minerals are incredibly important. However, even back in the 1930s, and I believe this was, in Congress in the US, it was well known and understood that we have very mineral deficient soils. And that was back in the 30s. Can you imagine it now with all the detoxification of our land and soil from various different herbicides, pesticides, you name it, glyphosate, GMO, that kind of stuff. So if we don't have enough in our soils, and we're not taking in enough, then when your body is being asked to shift and change and detoxify, then it can be kind of difficult and we can go through a little bit of a glitch. And sometimes all of a sudden, a particular mineral that you thought you had more than enough of is not processing properly in your body and maybe takes hours or days to kind of right itself. Now, I tend to do a lot of divine muscle testing, which means that if I start to feel my body doing something funky, and that could be very subtle, it could be a sense of needing to eat potato chips like the other day, or needing to salt my food more, or maybe having a sudden craving for chocolate, and I'm not much of a chocolate person. So these are hints that maybe there's something off with minerals. The other thing that I've noticed in the past is that sometimes I'll have sudden muscle cramps. Now, of course, as an athlete, that is, of course, possible that I overdo or underhydrate or don't take enough magnesium for all the weightlifting and everything I'm doing, but it's pretty unusual for me to have this kind of muscle cramping. And so when that happens, I can go and do some 𝗪𝗡𝗡𝗡𝗡 healing and investigation to see what is going on. So today I'm actually going to give you a little bit of a formula of what I do to muscle test whether or not I need extra minerals. And then what we're going to do for the 𝗪𝗡𝗡𝗡𝗡 healing activation is actually download the frequencies of the minerals you need. So first of all, let's take a look at the little mini protocol of how to figure out what minerals are maybe not processing properly. So in 𝗪𝗡𝗡𝗡𝗡𝗡 healing, we ask people to first align to source within, the 0-point field, the connection piece, if you will, to the source of the highest information, before we do the asking. So before we do the divine muscle testing, or for some people using the pendulum works for them. So we usually do this through 𝗏𝗏, stillness through observing internal movement. So if you are like, I don't know what you're talking about, well, it's actually chapter 4 in my Sensitivity is Your Superpower book, step by step, but let's do it real quick together right now. Now, if you are driving a car, don't close your eyes. But if it's safe for you to do so, you can close your eyes. What we're going to have you do is just rub your hands together real fast. Get some heat going, get some chi and energy flowing, and then stop. And as you close your eyes, just focus on the feeling in your hands, and then just continue following the flow of any movement or energy you feel. So I feel a lot of movement and flow in my hands, going on my arms, and then pretty much everywhere in my body, wherever I pay attention to. So just do that just for a moment. And as you focus your mind on following this flow of movement and energy, we actually enter the 0-point field. Kind of pretty easy, huh? Yeah, and that basically is the stillness. So in this space, we can actually muscle test. So if you know how to muscle test or use your pendulum while connected to the 0-point field, you'll be much more accurate. And of course, hydration helps as well. So the questions you ask are, how hydrated am I? Or how hydrated are my cells? We'll start with that. You can get a percentage out of 100%. So I usually start with 50% or higher or lower, right? If I get a yes for higher, then I go more than 60%, more than 70, more than 80 until I get a no, and then I back down and figure out how happy hydrated my cells are, or how optimally hydrated my cells are. And then we turn to the minerals. So the question we ask is, how well can I process minerals in my body right now and get a percentage out of 100%? Obviously, 95% or higher is ideal, right? Now, keep in mind, there's a lot of different minerals that you could be processing in your body. So you could have an average of, say, 70%, for example, okay? And here's the thing, a little tip. If you ask, how well can you process the least happy processing mineral or something to that degree, then you might get a lower number, because if you have 50 different minerals, the answer is going to give you the average, right? How well am I processing minerals? You might get 70%. You're like, yeah, that's not bad, right? But then you're having symptoms. Maybe you're having cramps. Maybe you can't sleep. Maybe something like that. Then if you ask the least happy, so how happy is the least happy mineral processing in my body at this time, you might get 30%. So there is one mineral that you are not processing very well. So the other way to ask this question, now this is a little bit more advanced, and you may have to watch this video a couple times to get what I'm talking about, is that you can ask how many different minerals in my body are not processing more than 95% optimally. Okay, now for most sensitive souls, that's going to be under 10. Okay, so we go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, oh, 3, we get a yes response. So that's how you kind of figure out what it is, and then you can get how well you're processing each of those 3 minerals, get a percentage for each of those 3 minerals, right? Because we're really not concerned about the minerals that are processing 95% happy and greater. We're really more interested in the ones that are not processing well. Now, to be even more detailed is sometimes you may need to learn, and this might be dependent on your spiritual responsibility type. The higher the type, the more you may need to learn, but maybe not. But I'm going to give you the answer anyway. So if you notice that magnesium is not processing well, and that's one of the common ones that, for whatever reason, glitches during Ascension upgrades, say you get that it's processing at 50%. Now, if you were to break down what processing means, you can ask, how well am I absorbing magnesium in my diet? And get that percentage. Maybe it's 95%. Oh, processing is not an absorption issue, right? The next question, how well am I utilizing magnesium in my body? Get an answer, oh, 30%. Okay, that's a problem. I can absorb it, but I can't utilize it. Third question, how well can I assimilate magnesium in my body? Maybe you get, again, 95%. Okay, so assimilation, we're good to go. And then the last one, well, a couple of ones I like to use as well. Sometimes it's not relevant, but can't hurt to ask. How well can I distribute magnesium throughout my body. Maybe you get 60%. Oh, I'm having some trouble distributing the magnesium to where it needs to go. And then the last one, the fifth one, is how well can I convert minerals? Now, this one may not be relevant for magnesium or some of the things. And if you don't even know what that means, don't worry about it. Sometimes the universe knows what you mean, so just test it. Oh, did I say convert? Sorry, I meant concentrate. Another C word. How well can I concentrate minerals? Now, for example, potassium, sodium, sometimes they need to be concentrated differently inside and outside the cell. So that's where I do tend to use that particular questioning when I do get that potassium's not happy, or calcium or sodium. So I don't use it as much for testing magnesium, but like I said, it can't hurt for you to ask those questions. So absorption, utilization, assimilation, distribution, and concentration. Those are the 5 subheadings of processing or processing. I think the Canadians say processing, right? And the Americans say processing. So you know what I mean. So as we go through these upgrades, as we detoxify body, mind, and spirit, because this is just part of the healing process, sometimes we need more minerals. Sometimes we have a glitch in how we are processing our minerals. So we may need more temporarily, or we may need to just fix the processing. So these are all the different options. Now, if you do know 𝗪𝗡𝗏 healing, you can basically figure out what mineral it is that is not processing well. If you don't need to know more, you don't need to go through all those 5 questions, then you just do 𝗪𝗡𝗏 healing directive. And that could be like, I now command that I be able to fully process all my minerals in the highest and best way, all directions of time with ease and grace, right? And this is from 𝗪𝗡𝗏 level 1. So that's already in your student portal. If you're level 1, additional explanations are there. Now, what I've noticed as well is, say we do need more minerals. Say we're processing the minerals well, but we do need more minerals because there's just a lot of energy being shifted around in our various physical and metaphysical bodies. Sometimes the minerals are really necessary for us to recalibrate us, ourselves, our bodies, etc. So if that's the case, you can actually muscle test how much of a mineral you need. For example, I use Mineral Force and Mag Force from Dr. Stephen Davis, who I absolutely adore. It is liquid, so it is inconvenient for travel, although honestly, I put it in my bag and just put a really, really strong Ziploc, thing that I find at the hardware store so it doesn't leak. But I do bring it because it's so good. So these minerals are actually alive. They are infused with subtle energies. So they are like Ascension 3, they're alive, they're alive frequencies. So I use Mineral Force and Mag Force, and I will muscle test how many capfuls of each I need that day. And I notice sometimes with Ascension upgrades, I will need up to 3 capsules a day. And actually, it was even more when I first started doing a lot of entity clearing work. I just needed a lot of minerals for the energy work that I was doing. But now I've noticed that there is another way to approach it. So I don't need to take in as much via my food or via these minerals. And that is downloading and activating the blueprints and the positive morphic fields of the minerals I need. So we're going to do a sample today for the 𝗪𝗡𝗏 healing activation. Now, I may not know exactly which mineral you need, so if you figured that out through divine muscle testing, you may want to do this activation specific for the mineral. So we're going to do a general one for everyone today. And you'll have to let me know in the comments how that feels in the body, whether you noticed a shift. Now, you may or may not notice a shift because you might not need more minerals right now, but I have noticed over the last week or two that quite a few people, myself included, have needed more minerals. So once we download and activate the frequencies of those minerals that you need, go ahead and recheck. Go ahead and recheck your dosage for the minerals that your body said it needed. More often than not, the amount of minerals you need to take, by pill or liquid or whatever, is much, much less. Yeah, so check it out. So we're going to go ahead and do the 𝗪𝗡𝗏 healing activation right now. So if it's safe for you to do so, go ahead and close your eyes and just make the intention to receive. I'll go ahead and do the activation statement and notice what happens in your body. I now command that any mineral frequency that would be for your highest and greatest good be downloaded and activated and amplified in your body as is for the highest good and the highest and best way, all directions of time, with ease, speed, and grace. Thank you. I now command that all minerals be able to fully process well in your body and optimally. Absorption, assimilation, utilization, concentration, distribution, with ease, speed, and grace in the highest and best way, all directions of time. Thank you. All right, you can open your eyes. If you had your eyes closed, tell me in the comments what that feels like in your body and whether you noticed a difference. Some of you, maybe you were craving salt and no longer crave salt now. Maybe you're craving, chocolate, no longer need that because your magnesium levels are better. So there could be a lot of things that can happen. Now, real quick, a couple of announcements. On Mondays, radio show, Light Warrior Radio, we have with me Dr. Dennis. It's the first Monday of the month, and we're going to be talking about phototherapy patches, acupuncture points, Asian medicine, and how to use these phototherapy patches to help you improve your health and decrease some symptoms you may have, whether it be, insomnia, whether it be, pain relief, you need more energy, you want less wrinkles, things like that. So join me on the show. I'm going to put some links below this video. Also some cool stuff, new stuff. Check out last week's video on healthy habits, healthy life. I talked about one of my favorite pairs of shoes, grounding shoes, and the technology and how that all works. Also, this month, October, October, we are going to be formally launching the Health Freedom Tribe. And I'll be telling more about that. So stay on my mailing list at 𝗟𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗏. So for people who are interested in, being in communication, connection with souls who are freedom advocates, who are freedom celebrators, if you will, and who are seeing things around the world that they do not like. We love getting together. We love chatting, looking at, what we can do to support each other and our families to stay healthy and to stay sovereign. So if you're interested in that, I'll put that link below. It's actually 65% off for the month of October. And then after that, it's going to go up to the regular price of $33 per month. Every week you get to talk to me live on Zoom. Also, we have free mini healings on Tuesday this month at 11 a.m. So if you haven't registered for that, go ahead and register in the link below. And last but not least, we have the Empaths, Sensitive, and Intuitives Summit coming up in October as well. So keep your eye on your email list because we will give you that link in the next few days. Yeah, exciting stuff. So thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, lots of love and have a wonderful week. And remember to click subscribe. And if you like this, give it a thumbs up, share it with whoever you think may benefit. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye for now.